Hello, guys, and welcome to today's off-season outlook and discussion for April 10th, 2022. And we're going to do a two-for-one deal here since, I only have time to make one video today. And we're going to take a look at Malakas and Megi here that is located here in the Western Pacific. This 994 feature here is Tropical Storm Maggie, or now Tropical Depression Maggie to some agencies, and this is Tropical Storm Malakas here. So as we go out through time, you can see that Maggie pretty much dissipates and rains itself out over the Philippines over the next coming days. Which I've seen pictures out of the Philippines, and it's not looking like a pretty picture over there. They got some serious flooding issues going on there, and it's probably going to just get worse from here. And hopefully, after too long, they start to get a break, but doesn't look like that's going to be the case. But as you can see from Malakas here, 941 millibars as we get out towards the next 3.75 days, 4 days here, and then it pretty much transitions to a frontal system as we head out through the hour 26 hour 26, but 126 hour mark. So this Malakas could still definitely become a very decently powerful typhoon here as we head out through time. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at the accumulations here, and this is basically more for the Philippines than it is for Malakas here. And you can see that some of these rainfall totals we're still, yesterday I said 300 to 500 millimeters of rain. We're still 12 hours later. We're still looking at an additional 300 to 500 millimeters of rain, which is 15 to 20 inches. There's going to be some devastating flooding going on here in the Philippines as we head out through the next couple of days. All right, so now we're going to take a look at what the European shows for these systems real quick. And it's pretty much here. Let me refresh this because it doesn't seem to be working. So here we are. It pretty much does the same as the GFS. It just rains itself out over the same locations as the GFS does. And then it brings out whatever's left to Fujiwara around Malakas and become one with Malakas. But the thing here with the European, it doesn't take Malakas as strong as the GFS here. So that's still a decent Category 2 typhoon as we head out through the next couple of days. And now we're going to take a look at the precipitation rates here. And the European is pretty much showing the same picture as the GFS, 300 to 500 millimeters of rain. Now I'm telling you guys are going to be rained and flooded out for probably days. And I don't take that lightly either, because that's just the facts here. I mean, some of you guys have already seen 7 days of nonstop rain, and you guys are only going to get added on to that here over the coming, days here. All right, so now we're going to switch gears here, and now we're going to talk about the Atlantic side of things. Obviously, we're in the off season now, so we don't really got anything out there to really worry about. But you can see that these waters here near Florida, we got 26 degrees Celsius, and we got some 27 degrees Celsius here showing up around the Keys. And we got this, this warm tongue here of 26 to 27 degrees Celsius here in the southeastern Gulf of Mexico. Here in the Bay of Campeche, 26s and 27s in the southeastern part of the region. And here in the Caribbean, 27s and some 28s here that are popping up in some of these locations. Then we the Western MDR 26s and 27s, par for the usual here over the last however many videos. And then we do got some 26s and 27s, and even a speck of 28 starting to pop up here near Nassau, here in the Bahamas. So everything is pretty warm right now where they should be. And this is going to warm up eventually here soon in the Gulf of Mexico more. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the whole of the tropical Atlantic here. We already talked about the western part of the tropical Atlantic. Now we're going to be more focused on the MDR region of the tropicals, the deep tropics, so to speak. So you see the 26 line here. You know, there's some areas in that of which it's at the 10-degree north line, but you can see that most of these sea surface temperatures, the more favorable sea surface temperatures are really down here at the 9 degrees and south line here. So, you know, these are starting to take their sweet time trying to make their way north, but they are going to eventually make their way north. And the reason why I'm saying this is because, you know, some models are predicting that the trade winds are going to weaken. So we're going to start getting some westerly wind bursts in here to start warming up the MDR region as we head out through the next, you know, week to 10 days. So we're going to have to see how this all pans out during the next 2 updates that I make over the course of the week. So, you know, and another important place here is this Equatorial Atlantic here. So we got 20, I think that's 28, maybe 29. 26, 27, yeah, 28. We got 28. So what we need for this to do down here, we need this to cool down a little bit. You know, that's for the people that love to see MDR systems, right? So we need to see this cool off a little bit so these tropical systems can come off more north and hopefully, you know, find a ride out to sea while becoming strong. You know, we all love to watch the out to sea storms. You know, those are the type of storms you want to root for. So, you know, with that being said, we're going to have to see this Equatorial Atlantic, you know, cool down a little bit if we want to see that kind of action this year. But I feel like it's going to eventually, like I said, the equatorial, you know, positions are going to cool down. MDR regions are going to warm up, and then it should be all systems go as we head into the peak of the hurricane season, in my opinion. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the ENSO 3.4 region, and this is going to determine whether we have a La Nina, El Nino, or neutral. And as you can see here, it's been a pretty La Nina look here, besides this one point here right at the 0.5 line. That's the borderline of neutral and La Nina here. And then after that point, we've just took a really big dip down into moderate La Nina stage, and it's pretty much been around that to negative 0.8 almost the entire time. Right now we have a value of negative 0.0951, which is that's a decently weak La Nina, but you can see that these values are going up a little bit. So we're going to have to see how it all turns out during the course of the hurricane season. And what this does typically is this reduces the wind shear in both the Caribbean and the tropical Atlantic for storms to thrive on. So less vertical wind shear to blow off the tops, the more strength these tropical systems get in terms of, you know, presentation, the winds it has, and all of that kind of stuff. So right now we're in a favorable state for the Atlantic hurricane season. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the CFS here, and we're taking a look at the precipitation anomalies for both May and June, and we got a pretty decent, you know, wetness areas here in the Caribbean, near Florida, and they're in and around the subtropics here, and where the biggest precipitation anomalies are right here in Cuba and parts of the Bahamas. So, you know, this isn't necessarily going to mean that you're going to get a tropical system. It's just that the precipitation anomalies are there to maybe plant a seed for a tropical system. But, you know, it can also mean that it could be your typical pop-up shower or thunderstorm as well. So we're going to have to see how this all pans out. And like, you know, me and Weather Hub TV, we are eyeing this area around here. So anywhere from the northwestern Caribbean to around the Bahamas, that's where we're really pinpointing the first preseason tropical system to occur. We're just going to have to wait and see how that pans out. All right, so now we're going to take a look at June. And as you can see, the precipitation anomalies are more widespread now. And that's pretty typical for this time of year, because it's pretty hit or miss in June where a tropical system might form or go towards and where it travels. Most of the time when we're talking about June tropical cyclones, we're mostly talking about the subtropics and probably the eastern Gulf of Mexico here. That's what you typically see in June, anyways, for tracks. But as you can see, we got precipitation here in the Bay of Campeche, southeast Gulf of Mexico in the subtropics. So, it's painting the picture of what you typically see in June. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the CFS bulk shear anomalies here, and we're going to go back here and go to May here, where we see all this precipitation here. As you can see, where most of the precipitation is, it's in the neutral to favorable wind shear environment here. So, we got the precipitation anomalies, we got the positive, wind shear anomalies. So all that really needs to do is like see if any storms start to build, and then if it takes advantage of the warm waters at the time we get to May, it could form into something. That's my point here. Like, I'm not saying, like I said this before already about a minute ago, but just because you see that precipitation anomaly doesn't necessarily mean that something tropical is going to form. It's just what it looks, what could happen if you get my drift. That could be, all it needs is a good environment, and right now the CFS is painting that the environment is going to be favorable for maybe some development. Obviously, we'll take it with a grain for now, but it's been consistent. It's been consistent, and that's key. For me, consistency is key, and that's what we've been seeing over the past month or so as I've been showing you guys these CFS runs. All right, so now we're going to go to June. We're going to go back here, and you can see this, like I said, this widespread precipitation anomaly, but you can see that everywhere is favorable for wind shear here. So, we're just, like I said, we're getting to that point of time where we start to take the models a little bit more seriously. And, that's what I'm doing. I'm looking at the, models religiously. Every run, that comes out, I'm studying, trying to understand what it is I'm looking at. And as you can see here, we got favorable wind shear here with all these precipitation anomalies. So it's pretty much the same deal as May, but we're just going to have to see, how it all pans out as we get more into getting closer to June. But right now, the outlook for June is looking wet. That's really all I can say right now, is it's looking wet plus favorable wind shear. All right, so with that being said, I think I'm going to wrap this up for today. Tomorrow I'll be having more individual tropical cyclone updates for Megi and Malakas as those systems continue to wreak havoc on the Philippines, at least in Megi's sake. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.